Recap our week. We started Ball State on Friday afternoon with a 3-2 win. Then we played UTSA. Second game, 8-0. Then we lost our game 3 to North Texas by score 2-1. And then the nightcap, we played UTSA again and won 11-1. As we went through the weekend, we got through with no injuries. Everyone's healthy. My very brief take or overview of the weekend was I thought our pitching was good. We had one shutout. I would like to saw us got a couple. I thought we could pitch a little bit better than we did. I thought our defense was nervous and off balance all weekend. I think we can play a much better defense than we did, and I thought our hitting was extremely inconsistent, and we were we weren't in the right competitive mode. We didn't focus and compete like we need to compete. So I was very disappointed in our hitting. And overall on the weekend, it was not what I was looking for on opening weekend. But I think we can learn things about our ball club. I think I did learn things about our ball club, and we'll try to make some adjustments, and hopefully we'll get better because of the loss.
Is there one thing like not patient enough or too patient or what like an easy kind of mental fix? I mean, everyone's going to go through ups and downs during the course of the season at the plate, but was there one overriding theme that where y'all fell short at the plate, do you think?
Not one thing. I think we just did not compete. We didn't compete at the plate. And I think that hitting is contagious. And I think we got to find the right combination of players where they feed off each other and they make not just themselves, they got to make their teammates better. And that's what I'm looking at right now is what combination I can put on the field here the next few games that will help them to compete. Not just make myself better, but make the person after me and the person before me better. Because in errors the same way. Defenses, if you start making errors and your team gets nervous in the field, it has an effect. So I don't think it's one certain thing. I think different players, but they're just not competing well.
Having a loss early, straight off the gate, is that something that like you're kind of okay with, being that you were able to see things you may have not seen during practice and stuff?
Yeah, I'm not okay with losing early, late, and middle. I don't like a losing period. And it's so, but the one thing we know is losses are inevitable. We're going to have losses. I think what's really important right now is that we take the loss very seriously and we try to recognize what we can learn from that loss to make sure we benefit from it down the road.
We talked a lot about expectations. What was it? I don't know if jitters is the right word, but did they not handle that first weekend and all the anticipation well, or is that not an issue?
Well, I think that it's one of the things you'll see with ball clubs, and maybe we're in a little different scenario. We got a little different. We're a little. It's a little different feeling or a little bit different expectations than what they're used to dealing with. I've got a lot of kids on this ball club that have been heavy underdogs, throughout their career, and now suddenly you have a Megan Kleiss join the program, and you have really high expectations. And what they need to realize, they just have to be the same player they've always been. Just go out there and be blue collar and compete hard. And so that could have had some effect on them, the expectations, and us not handling it well. And if that's what it was, then that's on me. That's my job to have them ready to compete under the circumstances that they're given. So I'm looking at everything. It could have been.
Talk a little bit about Brittany Holland and her journey and how she was able to overcome all that and even get a Grand Slam for her team.
I thought she competed well. I mean, if you look back at Friday night, there was a ball to her left that I thought, prior to the ACL injury, she would have got that ball. And I think down the road, she's going to get more as she regains her mobility. We'll expect to see her catch that ball. And then there was a ball after that was hit right at her that, split her finger open. She obviously should have made that play, could have made that play, but I think that's what happens. You get a little bit, the momentum goes away from you. And so I took her out when she was really bleeding pretty profusely there. So we got her out of that game. And then I thought she came back the next night and she made all the routine plays and then got a home run, obviously. And I was just glad to see her back on the field. I'm really excited about how she's competed down the stretch here in January. And, we're still learning. She's been here 3 years, but she's been out so much with the ACL that I'm trying to. I know that she's a competitive kid, and I think she might be one of the kids that can play well under competition and under pressure. But I'm anxious to hopefully see that here the next couple of weeks.
You mentioned Megan Kleiss having not thrown all last year and so forth. What were your not expectations, but did she do what you expected her to do first time out?
I thought she was good. Yeah, I thought she was really good. I thought, when you watched her pitch, it was different. I watched her a lot at Oregon, and I thought that she pitched a lot different here. I thought Coach White at Oregon and Coach Roberts here, the way they call pitches for her really pretty dissimilar. And so it was interesting watching her pitch and, watching the patterns that she was throwing here compared to there. And I thought she was really good with her changeup, which she's always been. But I thought there was times we threw 3, 4 in a row, and I had never saw that before. So I'm anxious to see as we go through the season. I'll be learning just as everybody else, and I'm anxious to see, what we get out of her. But I thought she was really good, really, really good.
You mentioned before the 7 games before playing LSU. In these 3 games this week before you play them on Saturday, what do you want to see from your team, and have you changed anything up from maybe that plan of the set lineups like you talked about before we get to that?
Yeah, no, I said I had my pattern. I had 7 games written out, and I said a close game or a loss, and that would go out the window. And I think I have to. I think I have to change a little bit. And one of the things that I've been trying to there's a movement. Like at first base, I was platooning, and we didn't get a hit all weekend out of first base. So is that because we were moving too much? But then at third base, we got more home runs out of the third base position, and we platooned there all weekend. So is platooning a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know. So I'm just reevaluating it, and now I don't have a plan. I'm going to see what we look like in practice today. We're going to look at some kids at different positions. I may look at Holland at first base a little bit today, and then what we see on practice, based on what we see, we'll make a decision going forward. But the preseason plan kind of went out the window with the loss and the other close game.
Have you always turned over your pitching to your pitching guys, or you just kind of trying to stay out of that?
Yeah, that's what I've done the 3 years I've been here. I've always just let the pitching coaches handle the pitching pretty well. I mean, I'll have some say in who's the starting pitcher, but as far as the calling pitches and breaking down the other hitters, I've stayed out of it, and it's worked well up till now. And I hope that's what I can continue to do. Yeah.
You talked at the beginning about kind of working together as lineup. Or are you going to try, once you decide who's going to be the first baseman and the third baseman and the right fielder or whatever, maybe try to get that continuity in a lineup? Or are you still, I know it's still early, so you're going to search as far as the batting order I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's a batting order.
Yeah.
I think we know. I think we know the 5 or 6 key components of our lineup. I think it's pretty obvious who competed really well last weekend. Alderink being a new person that showed immediately she's going to be a key player for in our offensive lineup. And then we know based on what we saw last weekend and last year, Julie Rawls is going to be a key component. Hudek, obviously. Brain O'Neill didn't do extremely well this weekend. I think she still hit 400. We know, though, from last year she's a key component. So I think we're just trying to find now that 6, 7, 8, 9. Is it going to be a player that played all the time last year, Courtney Grimion? Is it going to be a freshman, Taylor Roman? Is it going to be Carrie Boswell or Kendall Talley? Those are the things that we're looking at. Gianna Torres. We got to find the remainder of our lineup, and then once we find that, then I think it'll set itself a lot more this year because of the quality of those 5 or 6 players that are veterans at the top order.
Coach, you mentioned Alderink. I was going to ask you about her because it seemed like when watching her, she was taking wherever the pitch was pitched and taking it the other way with no problem. Is that something that you've seen from her, basically since she's gotten here? And just talk a little bit more about how impressed you were with the way she was able to handle the bat and how she was able to be at the plate this weekend.
Yeah, that's the kind of player she's always been. I mean, she's been that way all the way through college. She'll hit the ball to all fields. She'll hit the double when you need a double, and she'll get on base when you need to get on base. I thought she beat the ball out in the top of the 7th, and we didn't get the call at first base. We watched the replay. Probably should have got the call, but that's just she's competitive and she's clutch. In North Texas, she struck out her first at bat, but then she led off that next inning with a double down the left field line, made an adjustment, got the pitch, and drove it down the line. And she's just a great player, example of a kid that competes really well.